Let me take you back to rural Georgia, where the fields seem to run all the way to the horizon, and most mornings start so quiet you almost wonder if the world's still turning. That's the kind of place Marcus Owens called home, just a tired, quiet, older black farmer, or at least that's what everyone assumed when they saw him out there moving slow in the dawn light, his boots crunching gravel. What nobody knew, not the folks at church, not the men who dropped by to sell him feed, not even his closest neighbor, was that Marcus carried a whole war behind his eyes, and on this morning, that war was about to come to his doorstep in a way no one would believe. You ever wake up with the feeling that the air itself is holding its breath? That's how it was for Marcus for 30 a.m. Sharp, the way his body had learned during his Navy SEAL days. He just lay there for a moment, letting the chill air drift in from the window, staring at the one photo on his dresser of the old team, their arms around each other, faces young and fierce, frozen in time. He moved slow, his joints complaining, but you could see there was a purpose in every step, like muscle memory never really goes away. Marcus brewed his coffee, slipped on that old blue shirt, laced up his boots, and gazed out at the fields. It wasn't just land for him. It was peace he'd earned the hard way. So when he spotted those tire tracks by the east fence, deep and fresh, not belonging to his truck or any delivery driver he knew, he didn't just shrug it off. Combat instincts don't retire, you know what I mean? He circled his property, noticed the cigarette butts near the back gate, not his brand. That little warning bell in his mind started ringing, the one that tells you the day's about to go sideways. All morning, as he fed his cattle and worked the fence, he kept glancing over his shoulder, feeling that old itch between his shoulder blades like someone's out there, just beyond sight. By the time the sun dipped low, Marcus's shirt was stuck to his back, hands aching, but his mind was already racing. It was nearly dark when he heard the rumble engines coming fast down his private road. 3 pickups, then more, headlights slicing through the dusk, spraying his porch in harsh white. Men jumped out, rifles in hand, torches flaring, and Marcus saw, just for a second, the faces behind the masks. Rage, plain as day. He ducked low, all that SEAL training snapping back into place, moving silent through his own house, watching as they ringed his home, yelling, "Burn it all down." And then the glass shattered, a bottle crashed through his kitchen window, flames licking up the wall, the air turning thick and mean. Marcus slipped out the back, heart pounding but hands steady, low and quick to the barn where he'd hidden a waterproof case M4, body armor, insurance he'd always hoped to never use. The first 2 men inside the barn didn't stand a chance. Years of discipline turned his anger into action, silent, efficient, final. But it wasn't over, not by a long shot. Out in the yard, more men kept coming, setting fire to his barn, painting hateful slurs on the walls, gunshots shattering the night. For every man Marcus dropped, 2 more seemed to materialize. That's when he heard the deep rattle of an M249 saw and knew his old friend Tyrese had shown up big, loud, and impossible to miss. "Kant!" Someone screamed as Tyrese let loose, breaking the siege and sending the attackers scrambling. Even after the shooting stopped and the last pickup sped away, Marcus's farm was in ruins. House burning, animals slaughtered, fields scarred. Tyrese was there beside him, helping bandage a bullet wound. "How'd you know?" Marcus asked, and Tyrese just shook his head. "Been watching these bastards. Didn't think they'd come this hard." The sun was rising when the sheriff finally rolled in, taking his sweet time, acting like this was just some neighborly dispute over property lines. The sheriff's words stung, his indifference as loud as the gunshots that had torn up Marcus's home. Tyrese started to argue, but Marcus cut him off. He knew the law wasn't coming for justice, not out here, not for him. When the sheriff finally left, Marcus and Tyrese sat on the ruined porch, shoulders heavy, silent except for the crows circling overhead. "What's next?" Tyrese asked. Marcus didn't hesitate. "Get my phone." That call brought in the cavalry's Sarah Adams, silver-haired and sharp-eyed, Bobby Tran, always with a laptop under his arm, and Ezekiel Brooks, tall and silent, a tracker by trade. The old team, back together, not for a mission overseas this time, but to fight for Marcus's home. As they set up in his ruined kitchen, The truth unraveled. The men who attacked weren't just locals. They were part of something bigger, a white supremacist group called Sons of Purity, led by a man named Wyatt Cole, but funded and guided by someone with a military mind. The twist hit hard. Bobby traced the money and messages back to an old ghost, a man Marcus thought was long-dead Commander Alan Briggs, his former mentor, presumed killed in Colombia years ago, now revealed as the mastermind, driven by revenge for a mission gone wrong. You ever feel the ground shift under your feet? That's how it was for Marcus, realizing the attacks on his farm were just one piece in a campaign of terror stretching across the South. With the team's help, Marcus tracked Cole and his men to a warehouse, executed a flawless raid, and extracted the truth. Briggs was alive, orchestrating everything, manipulating hate for his own twisted payback. Before they could process what this meant, Briggs himself hacked their systems, his face filling their screens, eyes cold and voice sharper than ever. "I told you I'd take everything from you, Marcus," he spat. "And I'm just getting started." That night, Briggs's mercenaries struck again, snatching Tyrese off the street, torturing him live on video as leverage. Marcus's world shrank to a single purpose: rescue his brother. With Sarah, Bobby, and Ezekiel covering him, Marcus led a brutal assault on the mercenary stronghold, fighting through gunfire and explosions, finally carrying Tyrese out alive as the building collapsed behind them. You'd think that'd be the end, right? But Briggs wasn't finished. He rigged Marcus's entire property with explosives, torching everything to the ground: crops, house, barn, all of it reduced to ash. Marcus stood in the smoking wreckage, grief and rage warring in his chest, until Bobby showed him the final message. Briggs wanted a showdown, alone, at the old SEAL training ground. You ever get that sense that you're walking into a trap and just don't care anymore? That's where Marcus was. He went not because he thought he could win, but because sometimes you have to stand and finish what you started. The final fight was raw: two men, teacher and student, trading blows in the ruins of their old battlefield. Briggs was fueled by old pain, Marcus by the knowledge that letting hate rule means nobody wins. When Marcus finally pinned Briggs, he didn't end it with violence. He made him confess on camera, all of it: the attacks, the manipulation, the corruption, even naming the sheriff as a conspirator. Sarah and the team swept in, federal agents close behind. Briggs was arrested, his empire of hate shattered, dragged into the daylight for the world to see. But the real ending, the one that matters, didn't happen in a courtroom. It happened in the weeks that followed, when Marcus's neighbors, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, showed up, tools in hand, to rebuild not just his house, but the sense of community that hate had tried to burn down. Tyrese cracked jokes from his wheelchair, Sarah ran logistics, Bobby coordinated volunteers, and Ezekiel planted the first row of new corn. They launched the Red Clay Initiative, a foundation to help veterans and minority farmers rebuild proof that unity can take root even in the darkest ground. So let me ask you, after all that, what would you do if hate came for your home? Would you fight? Would you forgive? Or would you build something new with your neighbors, even the ones who once looked away? Share your thoughts in the comments, because justice, real justice, takes all of us, and sometimes the best revenge is building a world where nobody fights alone.
Xin chào các bạn, mình là Trinh, mình phụ trách viết content. Trên đây là những công việc của mình, là mình lên mạng xã hội tìm.
It is cold, yeah. Next one? Alright. Thank you, man. Hey, if you guys have any trouble, let somebody know. Please.
After the tree to hold on to. Yeah.
Yeah, use the fence.